Pokémon centers are awesome, aren't they? They have all your favorite plushes, brings back nostalgic memories of playing the game, have random items that you never knew existed that you now want. They literally are the dream location for any Pokémon fan. And the best one has got to be in Tokyo, right? The largest, most populated city in Japan, of course the best one is in Tokyo. Or is it? Could there possibly be a better Pokémon center hidden in Japan that no one has ever visited? And if so, where is it located? Well, today we are going to find out if this is actually the case, as I go through every Pokémon center in Japan to find out which Pokémon center reigns supreme. There are exactly 22 Pokémon centers in Japan according to the official Pokémon website. And since I have been living in Japan, I've been to 18 of them. Ironically, I've been to 2 others, but those were closed when I arrived. So this video, I will rank every Pokémon center in Japan from my least favorite to my ultimate dream location. You might be wondering, how am I going to do this without a bias? Well, I'm not. I mean, sort of. It's still based on my experience when I visited, so there's a bias there, but also I will rank them on these 5 categories and give them a score out of 5 for each of them. Ambiance, variety of items, ease of access, store setup, and overall Pokemon-ness. You'll see what I mean soon. And there will be bonus points awarded for special items in the store, like location-based exclusive merch. So first off, we will start off with my F tier Pokemon centers. And luckily, there's only one here. And that is the Pokemon Center in Tohoku. Located in the city of Sendai in Miyagi Prefecture, this Pokemon Center is a nice addition if you were going to go up north to find some Pokelids in Miyagi. But it might have been the day that I arrived there, since it was a Sunday night, but it was so crowded that I couldn't freely hear myself think. You couldn't even hear any of the music over the speakers, which is a big plus to going to a Pokemon Center. It was so crowded that I wanted to buy a Lapras plush, but saw the line and decided, maybe not today. It was that bad. Combined with the fact that I had a plane to catch, it's probably a bit biased of me to place it in F tier. But what can I say? This is based off my experience, and I will say at least it seemed to have a decent variety of items, so at least it had that going for it. But a total score of 9 on our point scale leaves it in the bottom tier. Going up a tier to E tier, which is a weird tier to go to considering our grades don't give out E's. It's only one Pokemon Center, or store for that matter, and that is the Pokemon Store Tokyo Station. Big issue here is the size. It's very, very small. It doesn't embody the full-on Pokemon Center experience, and that's okay. It's a store, not a center. But we are ranking on the same scale here for all stores, and at the very least, there is a bonus point for sometimes having the special Pikachu with the train conductor costume that is exclusive to this shop. So, at least it has that going for it. And also another bonus that it's tax-free shopping for this shop as well as all the other anime shops at the Tokyo Station. So, at least it raises it from F tier to E tier. Going up, we go to C tier. We have 6 Pokemon centers there. No Pokemon centers were in the 11 to 12 point range, which is D tier. So C tier we go to. For C tier, we have the Pokemon Center in Fukuoka, which is a center I go to a lot since I live in that city. Great location as is by the main train station. Pretty small center to be honest, but good variety of items each month. No special Pikachus, and nothing is decorated too special in the store. So overall, a very average Pokemon Center. We have the Narita Airport Pokemon Store, which is another small shop with limited amount of space and items. But why is it not on the lower tier as the other Tokyo shop is? Well, the reason it's not on the lowest tier is because of the new decorations throughout the airport that you can see now. Murals and Pokemon signage all over the place in Terminal 1, 2, and 3 adds to the Pokemon-ness of this shop. Even though it's not in the shop, it's still very close and nearby, so I added it as a bonus here. Also, there is a special Pikachu here too, one with a pilot costume. A very nice Pokemon Center to check out if you happen to be flying out of Narita Airport on your last day of your trip. We also have the Mega Tokyo Pokemon Center, which feels odd to have it here in the C tier, but let me explain. The good, awesome decorations outside the shop. All the Pokemon statues, amazing. Awesome to have Pokemon Sweets shop. Also, the Pokemon card area and the Pokemon Go area are amazing. It feels like a Pokemon town, honestly, and that's why the overall Pokemon-ness gets a 5 out of 5. But the bad, it's too crowded, not enough merch, too loud, it didn't feel all that fun to be shopping, and overall probably just the wrong day to be there. Although it was on a Thursday, and granted it was a holiday in Japan, but still, I expected more. We also have the Sapporo Pokemon Center, which is located all the way up in Hokkaido, far from Tokyo and much colder. This Pokemon Center was not too memorable for me. I mean, it was a nice, easy location to find, and they had a decent variety of items to buy. But overall, just very average across the board. Nothing stood out. We also have the Skytree Pokemon Center from Tokyo at C tier, mostly because it's fairly average, yet again, has merch, decorated decently, easy to get to, love the double Rayquaza statues, they are amazing, and love the spaciousness. I did give it a bonus point for the special costume Pikachu in a Skytree Tower, although I did not see it on my visit, but it does exist somewhere. But overall, nothing to write home about, very average. And the final one in the C tier is Tokyo Bay, which is honestly one of my favorites due to the surfing Pikachu in the front and the space all around the shop. Merchant store is abundant and ambiance is decent. Issue with this store is it's fairly far away from Tokyo or any popular city. It's nearby Disneyland, but if you're going to be going there, you're not going to really have time to go to the Pokemon Center, at least on that day. Because of the distance away from Tokyo, which matters to you guys watching, I have to dock points for that. And there's no special Pikachus here either. But I do love this shop. But it's not my overall favorite, but man, it is a really awesome Pokemon Center if you have time to go there. But it is C tier. Moving on up, we have our B tier shop. Notice I said shop, not plural, so there's only one B tier shop, and that is the Mega Pokemon Center in Osaka. The location is decent, and the store setup was pretty decent. Things were easy to find, and there was some variety, but nothing too special was here. No special items, and it wasn't too memorable of a Pokemon Center if I'm being honest. Moving on, we're gonna go to some of the best Pokemon Centers in all of Japan now. We still have a few in Tokyo remaining on our list even. So, of the remaining 8 Pokemon Centers, it's possible that Tokyo is in fact the location of the best Pokemon Center in all of Japan. Possible. Let's find out if it's actually true though. We have 6 Pokemon Centers in the A tier, and the first one in the A tier is the Osaka DX Pokemon Center. This one has great decorations. It has an interactive wall. You can see the merch is well organized and the variety of items is there. It is a fairly quiet store as it is slightly in a less populated part of Osaka. And there is a Pokemon Cafe nearby, literally next door actually. So bonus points for that. And there's a mural along the wall of the Pokemon Cafe. So the cafe really brings up the store quality and the Pokemon-ness. So it's definitely A tier for sure. In a tie for the same score on the A tier list is the Tokyo DX Pokemon Center. Notice a trend, DX. I don't necessarily know what it means. I think it's deluxe, but both of them are above the Mega Pokemon Centers. This one has a huge variety of items. The plushes even get their own room. This in itself is so awesome of a feeling to walk into a room where you're surrounded by Pokemon. It's so cool. There are even special plushes when I went there, which are no longer available currently, just to let you know. But even without them, you still have an awesome Snorlax statue, an awesome wall of history of Pokemon games, and the Pokemon Cafe is directly nearby. The thing that brings this to A tier and not S tier is the location. It's a bit out of the way of anything popular in Tokyo, so that isn't too convenient, but still, overall it is a joy to go there. Lots of plushes. It's a favorite for sure too. Another A tier that a lot of you will know is the Pokemon Center in Shibuya. Location is top as it's located near the Shibuya crossing itself. Also, you have Mewtwo at the entrance, which sometimes changes it to a Mew for some occasions. At least one time I went there, it was a Mew. But overall, this Pokemon Center has a bunch of merch, a bit crowded, but also has an interactive wall where you can see Pikachu dressed up as you. Also, you can make your own t-shirt, which is always awesome to try. And if you wanted to go shopping for other items, The Nintendo store is right next door, amongst other anime stores, so you don't have to travel far to get everything you ever wanted. You might think this should be S tier, but wait until we get to those Pokemon centers to see why I have this in A tier and the other ones in S tier. Bonus points for this Pokemon Center though, because it used to have a special Pikachu and possibly could in the future at some point again. We now move on to the remaining 3 Pokemon Centers in A tier. And these 3 have 21 points out of the total 25 that you could have. These Pokemon Centers are locations you probably wouldn't have guessed are going to be on this list, but they are Hiroshima, Yokohama, and Kanazawa. They all end in ah. Let's first off start with Hiroshima. This one was spaced out nicely and located nearby the main Hiroshima station, so that in itself is a plus. The red Gyarados is always awesome to see, but I think the thing that made this one stand out is the fact that it just felt very calming. It had all the merch, plushes, and monthly merch. Spacing was great and it felt like I had the store all to myself. You could hear the Pokemon music too, which is really nice for the ambiance. And the same could be said about Yokohama. It too is spaced out very well. You have the large Kyogre looking over the middle, and then a very large walkway to see the huge plushes in the front before walking to the back of the store to see even more plush variety. The decorations around the Pokemon Center are also cool, including this Pikachu in the front, which used to have a special costume plush when they opened the shop in 2018, as well as the walkway with decorations on the windows. And next door is a location full of crane games of Pokemon, so you can try and win some Pokemon if you so please. And if that wasn't enough, you could always go downstairs and grab some used Pokemon goods too. Not a Pokemon Center, but it's an option. And finally, it's located directly at Yokohama Station, so it's in a location that's very easy to get to. And finally, we have Kanazawa. Located a bit of a ways from typical Japan locations to visit, it's still right at Kanazawa Station, which is the main station in Ishikawa. So location-wise, this Pokemon Center is good. The inside is beautifully designed though. You can see the Pikachu in this awesome kimono hanging around, and they even have a store plush of it, which is absolutely something you must go get. I love the variety of the items here, especially because I came during the time that Koge Museum was open, so the merch was also in this store, including this rare Pikachu, and also all these awesome museum merch. By far one of my favorite exhibits I've ever been. If you are going to be in LA, I hear they're opening the exhibit down there, so check it out. But this Pokemon Center was so relaxing to go to, I could have spent all day there. No crowd. I felt like I could buy everything in the store. I honestly am surprised it's not S tier, as I did these without even thinking about it. I just ranked everything, and it just so happened to be A tier. But I guess there's 2 Pokemon Centers that might be even better than this. And these final 2 Pokemon Centers are both S tier. They're both with 23 points, and both are rightfully ones I would visit in a heartbeat. If I was providing you a list leaning towards one that's easier to get to, then this one right here would be the one that would be number 1. But it's not a list like that. It's a list with my opinion of my favorite and what I thought. And so because of that, this is the number 2 Pokemon Center to visit, at least according to me. And that is the Pokemon Center in Kyoto. Still S tier. From one of my videos, I considered it the best Pokemon Center in all of Japan. And you can see why. It has awesome decorations. Pikachu in a robe, Ho-Oh, Lugia, starters, decorations. It's a wonderfully set up store. It also has special merch, like the Pikachus, as well as kimono material with Pokemon embroidery. The variety of items was amazing, and honestly, this store is one you definitely have to visit if you can. And most of you will be able to, because your typical trip of Tokyo, Osaka, Kyoto, this one falls right into that. Even if it's just to see the statues in the store, it's that good. I do wish that the ambiance was a little more Pokemon involved. The music is there, but that's standard. And it's not over the top, so it's above average in that regard, but it's not number 1. The number 1 Pokemon Center in all of Japan just so happens to also be the newest one. and rightfully so. It's not an easy one to get to though, so I had to dock points from ease of access a bit, all the way down to 2. But even if you consider the airport as the main location, it's still far from there too, which makes it very difficult. But either way, it gets 5s across the board otherwise. 23 points, and the #1 Pokemon Center in my opinion. I am talking about the Pokemon Center in Okinawa. Just look at this. You have decorations outside the Pokemon Center, an Arcanine, a Alolan Executor, Pikachu inside with an Okinawan robe. There is special merch, Pikachus that look awesome, the boy version and the girl version. There's Okinawan merch, not just Pikachu Okinawan, but the actual island of Okinawa has its own Pokemon merch. This whole shelf is all special stuff for this Pokemon Center alone. There's even an interactive wall that helps you shop for things that you want in the store. But the thing that puts this over the top to me and puts it in S tier and #1 is the thought process that went in the design of the shop. Since Okinawa is an island, they made this Pokemon Center to feel like you were near the water. The middle portion of the shop is colored to look like the ocean. Look at that. You can hear ocean sounds on the speakers too. The music has an island feel to it too. It's still Pokemon, but island-like. And if you get to the outer edges of the store, that's like being on a beach or on the mainland. You can see the color of that portion reflects that. And if you get to the backside of the store, you can see the ambiance change there as well. Overall, it's such a well-made Pokemon Center in my opinion. It's so different than every other shop due to the fact they put emphasis on feel and sound. Also, they have all the merch you could ever want, shelves and shelves of stuff, and it's well spaced out, so you have no issues walking around. Absolutely the best Pokemon Center I've visited in Japan. Hands down. Is this what people do? Hands down? But yeah, that was my list of the Pokemon Centers in Japan. Hopefully you can see why I love the Pokemon Center in Okinawa and the Pokemon Center in Kyoto. And possibly I convinced you to try and visit these two. Regardless, let me know which Pokemon Center is your favorite from this list in the comments down below. And also let me know if you want me to do another Pokemon Center review video when I visit those last 5 that I haven't visited yet. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. I will see you guys next time. We are going to have a lot of stuff to do in the next few months, so stay tuned, subscribe to this channel, and as always, we'll be out there looking for Pokelids in the countryside of Japan. Peace out.